he outscored his pace than when Marner played on his line, so I'm not too worried about him getting to 50.
Okay.
The other guys are going to get some of that Mitch opportunity, who played 23 minutes a game or whatever. So I don't think they're fine. They need a top 6 guy. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying I don't think they're going to be a bottom 10 offense next year. Could be wrong, but
where's that top 6 guy coming from, you say?
that's a good question. That's something, maybe we can ask Brad after the break.
There are, I think, was it Elliot that mentioned Kadri now?
No, I don't think that was right.
No?
I don't think that was
Okay.
right. But I saw that too, and I got really excited about it.
You did?
But I think it was somebody.
That's someone you like?
You know what?
Would that ease your mind a little bit if
Yes.
Kadri finds his way back to Toronto?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
It's interesting. They suddenly have a lot of center. Waugh can obviously do it, and Lawton can do it, and hell, Lorentz has done it in the past. Tavares, Matthews, Domi can do it. They got a lot of center.
Quantity, lots of quantity.
Nylander
totally. They don't have.
Nylander can do it.
Yeah, we'll never know. We'll never know.
I wonder if Berube will come out and be like, we're going to really try it this year.
I hope.
And then they just don't again.
So if Kadri's out there and you're trying to now build a deal that would satisfy Calgary, I'm not even sure the Leafs have what it takes to do it.
I don't see how it's possible.
How about Callie Yarncroc, David Kampf, Nick Robertson in
What was the running
2029
joke for years?
second
Connor
round.
Brown, Bracco in a second? Was that?
How about a first, a second, and someone?
We
Would
don't
you
have
do it?
what first?
No, I don't know. 2040. I don't know.
I think
2028.
You can only trade how many years in
how far
advance?
can you
They
go
have a
up?
28.
Can you go that far?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can go 29. They just, the last deal they did has a conditional 29th in it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can go.
They got their 2028 first.
Isn't it kind of over for like getting rid of all these first and second rounders, even if they are 2 or 3 years from now? Isn't it time to stop that?
Well, it's two different conversations. You could say
Stop
it is
getting
time
into
to
debt's
stop.
a good thing.
You could say it's time to stop, or it's time to just get rid of them all. Like you have 4 years here
Yeah.
with all these guys on the team. It's like with the guy you drafted,
years.
yeah, sure, in 2028. Like, boy, he's going to be a great third line center when
gotta tell you,
everyone's gone.
When you're talking about like asset management, like you look, Carolina took a licking for the Rantanen thing. They turned expiring Natchez and Jack Drury into Stankoven extended, Keandre Miller, and they have 4 first-round picks in the next 3 years. It'd be nice to be good and have picks.
Yeah.
That's
allowed, I
Other
guess.
teams
Yeah.
have pulled that off somehow miraculously. So I don't know. I don't know if you spend them or stop spending them.
I'm now at the point where, like,
Maybe stop.
It's too deep.
what do you call it? Billy ball or Billy Bean ball?
yeah.
Like
Moneyball?
Moneyball. Like we saw a little Moneyball yesterday out of Brad Tree Living.
Yeah. Do you think,
This may be the only way here. I am not a fan right now of any more top picks, no matter how far in the future they are, or Easton Cowan. I don't think I would put him out there right now for Kadri.
No, I'm ready to see Cowan. I'm ready to let Cowan have a run at things and see if he's.
we should break. General manager's calling in 5 minutes. So we should
Okay, Brad Tree Living, a lot of questions for the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs next on the Real Kipper and Bourne Show. Welcome back to the show. Nick Kiprios, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee in a few minutes or shortly. Brad Tree Living, general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, will join us. Outside of Leaf talk in general, just with the cap going up and all this talk about new money, we didn't really see it yesterday, did we?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ken Holland saw it. Oh.
Yeah, Ken Holland.
Okay, let's pick up the conversation with the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brad Tree Living. Tree, thanks for joining us. I know maybe some Leaf fans, I don't know if I want to use the word disappointed or not, but there wasn't a major signing with one of the top free agents available yesterday to fill in maybe for Mitch Marner. But how would you have described your last 24, 26 hours so far?
Well, thanks for having me on, guys, first of all. Well, it's been busy as it is on July 1st. Really, I think this probably it went. I think as we anticipated, and by that I mean the majority of players that we looked at as potential fits for us were re-signed to their teams, right? So it's one thing to speculate about who's going to get signed and who would look good. It's another for players to actually get there. So when you looked at that pool of players that we felt could fit into a spot for us, if you talk about, a top 9 role, a top 6 role higher in your lineup, the pool became increasingly shallow from what the projections were. When you look at who's a projected free agent on June 27th, that pool of players became a lot less on July 1st. And so we certainly were active in talking to, a number of players, and, whether it be, not necessarily wanting to, not seeing a fit with us or not wanting to come here, or contractual requirements not fitting. I kind of thought it was going to go the way it did yesterday, in terms of not being able to necessarily address, with Mitch leaving sort of that offensive side of things, and got to that feeling really probably a week ago, and part of that was the reason we looked at a Michelli deal, in terms of a player that can bring some offensive ability, a player who we think had a down year last year, and there's more upside there at a relatively inexpensive cost. So that's probably a summary of yesterday, and we continue to pick away at it here today and moving forward.
Brad, thanks for coming on with us today. We really appreciate it. I wanted to follow up on a comment you'd made yesterday in the press conference and hear a little bit, like being aware in terms of looking to replace a top 6 forward, find someone to fit into one of those spots. What is the timeline or process for you of kind of, I don't know if you're calling around the league and you get a list of guys who might be available. What does the process look like, and what do you expect that to, I guess in terms of, would that be something you're looking to do in the next week? Is that a summer-long venture? How do you aim to fill that hole?
Well, the process for it, Justin, is once the season comes to an end, you touch base with every team in the league. So you explain what you're looking for. They explain sort of what their situation is. So you have a pretty good handle after once you've done your individual team meetings of what's potentially out there. And it comes back to me at that point where there wasn't a huge appetite for people to move players, right? You have a rising cap. You've got a shortage of top players. You've got a lot of teams, whatever window they're in, or whatever stage their team's in. I think the league is in it. I would describe it right now as everybody's trying to take a step. Everybody's trying to, not necessarily throw a lot of people off the boat. And a large portion of the reason for that is because you've got a rising cap, right? There isn't. We've seen in the last, really in the last number of years when we've operated really in a flat or a marginal increase cap, where people run into issues, right? And so now they've got to make decisions and move somebody out. There certainly wasn't that, there wasn't a lot of that going on in the league. Therefore, there's players that, less players hit in the market, less players available, and more people retaining their own players. So, and the other piece with it is just identify what we're looking. I think I mentioned it the other day. It's just not as simple as saying, okay, Mitch has moved on. We go replace Mitch. To me, it's you kind of got to do that in the aggregate, right? The opportunity allows you is more cap space, and can you try to get more depth? Can you try to spread it around? Can you, over the course of maybe a couple of moves, replace the offense that's required or that you're trying to replace, and spread that out throughout the lineup. So as far as timing, it's a good question. You'd like to do it yesterday, you'd like to do it today, you'd like to do it tomorrow. I don't know. I mean, we don't play here till October. And the question people always ask, you're finished. I don't think you're ever finished, right? You're always looking to try to improve your team. You don't know when those opportunities are going to surface. If somebody gets into a jam, if somebody's, whatever the opportunity is, but you have a pretty good handle on what people are trying to do, what players may become available, and you just take that information and then, you try to get out and, whether it be through free agency or through trade, try to, upgrade yourself and find players that could fit and provide what you're looking for.
You're listening to Brad Treliving, General Manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Brad, just to put a bow or conclusion on the Mitch Marner story here, if you look back at your year and a half or 2 years whenever you showed up here and looking back in hindsight right now, is there anything you would have done differently, acted differently, pushed harder for maybe a list once you started realizing that he may not be coming back? Is there anything that you've learned through